Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a dance class promoting inclusivity is making its way to the region. And a new musical shines a light on the hard work done by those in the community.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We're coming up on 6 o'clock this Thursday morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Mace Michaels for a look at your forecast this morning.
Good morning, Madison. We're looking at some foggy spots, but most areas pretty comfortable for this hour. 64 right now here in Moorhead. You notice sun rays just first starting to creep up, at least on this last camera shot, and there's not any fog to talk about. Here in Hazard, though, as we see the sun begin to come up a little bit, or at least the sky a touch brighter there on the horizon, you notice some of the clouds and fog off in the distance, the mountains, the hills. 57, we will run into locally dense patches of fog throughout the morning. Williamsburg and Somerset have been the two areas that have been at least reporting the fog this morning. At times, both have had near zero visibility, other times close to 10 mile. You see that they're down at this hour, but not bad for travel. But just be aware, pockets of locally dense fog, as always, out this morning. Temperatures in most areas range from the mid-50s to the mid-60s and a partly cloudy to mostly clear sky. We will have more sunshine than clouds overall throughout the day today. High pressure controlling our weather. Notice it's dry and quiet. A lot of storms, though, up to our north and west. That's the weather for tomorrow. And another wave will move in on Saturday. So storms to look forward to down the road. But today, Madison, we warmed through the 50s and 60s this morning, up into the upper 80s for this afternoon with isolated storms.
Mace, thank you. The contentious conversation around Amendment 2 that will appear on Kentucky ballots in November is heating up. Pulaski County schools have removed several posts on social media after Attorney General Russell Coleman sent out an advisory. Superintendent Patrick Richardson says he respects the office of the Attorney General, although he says he does not agree with Coleman's opinion.
More than a dozen states across the country offer some type of school choice voucher program. Kentucky is considering becoming one of them.
The extent to which these private school voucher costs are really exploding across the country. I mean, if you look at Florida, they're spending 30% of what they spend on public schools on private school vouchers.
Jason Bailey, the executive director of the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy, helped to compile some research about the financial impact if Amendment 2 passes in November.
We've seen a growing gap between wealthy and poor school districts. So that problem could only get worse if they're now diverting more resources to an entirely separate system of private schools.
The report estimates if modeled after Florida's program, it would cost Kentucky $1.2 billion annually, which equals the cost of about 10,000 public school teachers and employees.
And what you see in other states often is that when voucher programs pass, private schools increase their tuition accordingly. So it doesn't mean that it makes a private school within reach for certain families. And most of on average, about 70% of the families that benefit from private school vouchers in other states are already in private school or planning to enroll in private schools.
It's a decision that will be made at the ballot box this November. In Lexington, Kelsey Soto, WKYT.
The Economic Policy Institute found that states with voucher programs spent $2,800 less per student than those without it in 2021. While many students returned to class last week, others return today or will be soon. Here's some schools that are returning this week. Perry County schools are getting their new year underway today, as well as Buchanan County schools in Virginia kicked off a new school year. Logan County schools in West Virginia will head back on Monday, and Whitley, Knott, and Lawrence County students grabbed their backpacks and headed into a new school year yesterday morning. We have compiled a list of when schools are starting back. Just go to this story at WYMT.com. Perry County school administrators announced the start date for Buckhorn School has been delayed. Now students will return on Monday, August 26th. They were originally going to start this morning, but Chief Financial Officer Jody Maggard says they ran into some things that needed to be cleared up inspection-wise. Maggard says administrators have made a big push to get the school reopened.
We knew it was going to be sort of a game day decision. We were hopeful that we were going to be able to get kids in school tomorrow with all of our other schools and just start everybody at the same time. But we run into some hurdles that we just couldn't overcome, time mainly being of the essence on some of them.
Maggard says those inspections should be completed within a week. The first day for all Perry County schools besides Buckhorn is still bright and early this morning. School officials are working hard to prepare for the return of students, and one area faces a constant need. Many school districts in the region are experiencing a shortage of bus drivers. The Transportation Department for Harlan County Public Schools is seeing the shortage firsthand. Director of Transportation Mike Cox says, quote, "Although we train several during the summer months to be ready for school to start, we inevitably lose drivers for various reasons. We have mechanics that have a regular bus run as well as the administrative assistant filling in where needed. Despite these issues, we look forward to a safe and successful school year for Harlan County schools." End quote. It was a busy day in and around Richmond with many new and returning faces making way to the college town. Wednesday was Move-In Day at Eastern Kentucky University, and it's a record breaker with 4,700 students living on campus this fall. For many, this is the first time leaving home. That's one of the reasons why the university puts so many resources into a special day like this.
That's the most important part, is we want them to be comfortable. We want them to feel like that this is the place for them. We want them to come and they want to think about home and feel connected to home, but we want this to become their home and to stay with us.
EKU is also celebrating another milestone this year's freshman class is the largest in the school's history. And we cannot forget about some of the colleges in our area when we talk about back to school. August 26th will be the first day of classes for the University of the Cumberlands in Williamsburg. The University of Virginia at Wise is starting the new year on August 21st, next Wednesday. UPike is set to begin their new school year on August 26th, and Alice Lloyd College in Knott County will begin the fall semester on August 20th. On Saturday, August 24th, downtown Hazard will be filled with hundreds of firefighters. The second annual 5 Alarm Fest will take place on the Grand on Main Street in Hazard. Around 500 firefighters are expected to attend, and the community is invited to come out and spend the evening with the first responders. The event is hosted by the Mountain Firefighters Association to honor firefighters from across the Commonwealth.
This all coincides with the State Fire School that's held here. I think there's over 500 firefighters that will be in town with their families.
The event will start at 5 in the evening with a fire truck show, and music will follow. The headliner is Daryl Worley. Smith says there will also be plenty of food vendors. Later this year, a movie will be filmed in Harlan County, and the director and writer of the movie says she is looking for places to film. A Woman's Work, a drama about a young woman in rural Kentucky who works as a coal miner to provide for her family, will be filmed in October. The director says she's looking for 2 living rooms, 1 bedroom and kitchen, and some home exteriors. We have more about this at WYMT.com. The Appalachian Center for the Arts is highlighting hard workers with a new musical that incorporates mountain careers. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about the Pikeville production.
Working a musical, mountain style.
It's not often that you get to do a show that's so personal to your community.
The Appalachian Center for the Arts is bringing its newest production to the people with a localized version of a popular play.
The show is based off of a book by Studs Terkel. He went around and he gathered a bunch of interviews of American workers and compiled all of that, and they took those interviews and created a musical about it.
The center brought local workers in for interviews, asking them to share their stories, using those to show the common threads that connect the careers and the people who punch the time clocks.
Everywhere from a coal miner to a teacher to a recently graduated high school student, servers at the Texas Roadhouse, just people who really represented the makeup of our community.
With a variety of stories and sounds weaved in to offer a little something for everyone.
Actors are also doubling as choreographers, as music directors. We have a local band, we have local actors in the show, so they have really helped us bring in elements of Pikeville and the surrounding counties.
Putting in the work to show what working looks like here in Pike County. Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Tickets are still available for the production. The first show is Friday night at 7:30.
As you take a look at Buffalo Mountain this morning, the first rays of the sun starting to peek up, some wispy high clouds in the background, some scattered clouds, and you look down underneath, you can just start to see some of those areas of fog that have pockets of locally dense conditions, hard to see on the visibility in areas. And the sun's starting to creep up here in our hazard camera as well. And the same type of thing, you can notice some of those low clouds and fog in the background. Upper 50s, low 60s for most of the temps. Visibility down a touch in Somerset and Williamsburg. Those are the two spots we've seen fluctuation from near 0 to 10 miles. Right now, neither of them not too bad. Just watch out for your travels this morning. 50s, 60s. Yep. Comfortable morning, as we were talking about. Quiet here, storms to the northwest. That really won't affect us till tomorrow and Saturday. So out at the bus stop, you wake up to the upper 50s now. Madison, for later on today, we are well into the 80s with only isolated storms. Full forecast, of course, is coming up.
Thanks, Mace, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. When we return, the latest on what is now Hurricane Ernesto as it brings significant flooding to the U.S.